welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Headlich in Charge, I am playing Loam Pox. Real BoshNRoll fans know this is the backup signature deck. Once we get away from Brainstorm and Shark Typhoon and Uro and all the cards I'm really known for, Pox is a fan favorite around here. I love playing it, and Headlich has supplied his version of the deck, which has some fun choices in it. The core of this deck is to cast the card Smallpox early and often, and then break parity with things like Life from the Loam, Mox Diamond, get ahead somehow. This is a pretty devastating card. For 2 mana, each player loses life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, sacrifices a land. Devastating stuff. But if we are up on mana with something like Mox Diamond, or can recoup all those cards we just lost with something like Life from the Loam, it's not so bad for us, and it's terrible for them. Headlich has chosen to include 2 copies of actual Pox. This is the joke of the card Smallpox. If you weren't playing in Ice Age, Smallpox is funny because each player loses one of each thing, and it's smaller than Pox, which was the original one. Each player loses 1/3 of all of those things, loses 1/3 of their life, discards 1/3 of the card in their hands, sacrifices 1/3 of the creature, and 1/3 of their lands, round up each time. Insanely powerful card, and one of the big reasons this is included is Headlich really built this deck to Pox more often, and literally true because there are more Poxes than most lists play. Most lists don't play Pox at all. They just do Smallpox and then have other legacy cards. Actual Pox does another big thing too, which is actually start to close out the game. Losing 1 life could come up. Losing 7 life, serious hit, basically a lava X attached to everything else that's going on here. And one of the problems Headlich was experiencing was actually closing out the game, reducing the opponent's life points to 0 after doing a bunch of Pox stuff, and this does a big chunk of that. Headlich has also opted for Sudden Edict over Sheoldred's Edict to really rub it in the face of those stinky counterspell decks, but that means we need other answers to Planeswalkers because Sheoldred's Edict isn't there, which has brought us to Murderous Rider, a flexible answer to creatures or planeswalkers, and it pivots around and becomes a threat whenever you're ready for one of those. 4 Loams, 4 Lilianas, 4 Thoughtseizes. Finally, Lava Spur Boots in a deck. People have been asking where this card is every time I put Urza Saga in a deck on the channel since OTJ came out. And the answer is when it made sense. This is the first one that's not tutoring for Grindstone or some more powerful card. This is an actual deck that's trying to attack for damage at some point, and Lava Spur Boots makes a bunch of sense. The only changes I made to this list was there were 3 copies of Force of Despair in the sideboard to beat goblins, and I'm recording this on the day where they banned Mind Goblin in Legacy. It's Monday, May 13th. This is going to come out Thursday or Friday of this week, but this is the first time I have to play Legacy without that card around, and it actually materially changed the sideboard because goblins was one of the worst matchups for this deck. It's a perfect day to do this. Let's jump in. This is Loam Pox from Headlich in Charge. I'm on the play in round 1 with a hand that is slow and steady. I think it's good enough. I'm going to keep it. Obviously, you're more excited for the Mox Diamond, turn 1 Hymn to Turok into Smallpox them with Loam back. That's what we want. But I'm also not going to mulligan a 7-card hand that interacts with my opponent and then draws cards. My decision right now to get Bayou or Swamp. If I get Bayou, I can cast Life from Loam next turn without using my Urza Saga. If I get Swamp, I'm in no danger of Wasteland, but I have Loam and a colorless source in my hand anyway, so I'm still not in any danger of Wasteland. It would just happen slower. Opponent's on a mull to 6, definitely want to Thoughtseize them. Okay, we've got Rhinoceroses, which is probably a bad matchup. I'm going to take the Violent Outburst for sure. Okay, that's a little bit scary. Though I do now have the option, if they lead on Hedge Maze, I can Pithing Needle the Misty Rains Forest in their hand and maybe get a cheese there. That's really bad if I draw a Smallpox later, though, because they'll just have a useless land to sacrifice. But I can largely just lose to any 3 mana, and they're representing 1 already. Oh, tough beats. This box with the basic forest in my hand. It's fine, we'll make it work. I'm going to play Urza's Saga and get that ticking, and I'm going to Pithing Needle Misty Rainforest. We did it. See the combo where I look at their hand and then know what's in it to make decisions with? Brilliant magic. Please play the Misty. Please play the Misty. Because if they play the Misty Rainforest, that means they can't even ice my Urza Saga, which is actually a pretty good play here. Nice. I mean, they can. It would just cost them the Spirit Guide to do it, which I'm also fine with. This basic forest continues to punish, but it's in here for a reason. And I am going to try to go on beatdown mode here. I could have cast Loam here, picked up Verdant Catacombs. Oh, Petty Theft, Pitching Spirit Guide. Okay. All right, yeah, that's a way to unlock it. I was saying I could have Loamed here to pick up Verdant Catacombs, which means I can tutor Mox Diamond and start to fix this mana situation, but I do kind of want to add to the board because if they just put 2 4/4s into play, I have to beat that somehow. They have Endurance, Fire, Ice, and 1 Unknown in the hand. They can cast Endurance or Brazen Borrower at instant speed, so they don't really have to do anything yet. They could fire this construct and just make it dead when it's a 1/1. That's fine. That's like Time Walk to me. Another Pox. Okay, what would I tutor for if I tutor? Probably Currency Converter. And I'm going to tutor, but I have to decide if I should try to cast spells this turn. I don't think so. If I didn't have that Endurance just face up, I probably would rather Loam, but it is face up, so sucks to suck for me. And I'm going to get Currency Converter and miss my land drop like a chump. Okay, they just passed back without a play. Wasteland, fascinating. I mean, Wasteland's great, but if they just Endurance me, that sucks. Yeah, this Endurance is a huge problem. I could just attack them first, draw out the Endurance, and then waste plus Loam second main. And if they happen to have drawn Violent Outburst, good job. You got me. The full blowout. They have Endurance. They know I know they have Endurance. This could just be a take 2 to not get blown out by some graveyard stuff situation. Or they must assume I have an Edict or something useful to punch through here. I kind of hope they just take the obvious exchange. Cool. Yeah, definitely targeting me. Losing that Verdant Catacombs and that Urza Saga off this Loam hurts, but at least I'm going to get to do something. Wasteland, take out the red. That life from the Loam. And I just got to start trying to bring this back somehow. I got 16 life to work with. Wasteland in my hand. They're attacking for 3. Shardless Agent off of an Elvish Spirit Guide? No! What a perfect sequence. Yeah, we just lost. Okay, yeah, this was awkward. The basic forest got me in a squeeze. The Endurance got me in a squeeze. Do I even dredge? What am I drawing to? Do I have any outs? No, I'm just going to concede. I don't want to dredge and show them 3 cards. That sucked. Okay, tough matchup. Abrupt Decay can kill some rhinos. Shadow Spear can erase some rhinos. Nile Spellbomb. They are a deck that usually has some Murktides in there. I don't think I'm worried about it, though. Pithing Needle, no great hits for that. Plague Engineer can make rhinos smaller. And then it also has Death Touch, so you like take 1 from a rhino instead of 4. Not a great deal. Probably not going to do that. I like my Disruption. I like my removal. Maybe Hymn to Tarak can go. Because this is a deck that doesn't really need anything. Like, they need to do one specific thing. It can happen on literally turn 0. It's really tough to pick them apart with this card. If I had to pick matchups that are horrible for Pox, this is probably near the top of them. Okay, this hand has a lot more juice to it. The mono black start. I am going to keep it. I just have to decide how I'm going to sequence this stuff. Because I could play Mox Diamond, Dark Ritual out Pox. And I haven't made my land drop yet, so I don't have to sacrifice anything. I could also just go to their turn. I could play Baron more tapped, pass the turn, and just see what they want to do. And try to actually get a Pox out of a land. This is one of those hands where having Loam in your hand is just so different than not having Loam. I could also play Swamp, cycle Baron more, try to get something going here. which seems really dangerous. This is the Family Guy meme. Cycle Barrenmore could be anything, even a land. I'm just going to Barrenmore tapped and pass. Tropical Island. Ooh, drew the best card in my deck. Okay, how do I use it? Well, I have to lead on Mox Diamond. Discard this Swamp. If I go Dark Ritual, Smallpox, Life from the Loam, that's actually really powerful. Dark Ritual. And Smallpox is powerful enough that they might use counter magic on it. Smallpox. Let's put us both in the trash. What I don't want them to do is just float mana. If they have like Spirit Guide, Violent Outburst, they can win here with no permanents. Yeah, I'm going to discard Lava Spur Boots. I just have hopes for this actual Pox. They discarded an Endurance. Hope they don't have another one of those. This is my whole plan. Spirit Guide. Oh no. It's happening. All right, sure. Well, I have some removal in my deck, I guess. But this was exactly the nightmare scenario. Maybe this isn't possible if I just send Pox on turn 1. A Cycle Barrenmore for a redraw. Okay. Okay, so I can Smallpox these. One of them dies, or I can Pox these. One of them dies. I'm at 11. I end up at 7. I am not going to Dredge Loam here. All right, I have to fetch. All right, I have no idea who's going to hurt more here. Okay, Bayou. I'm just going to cast the spell that I have. I have put Pox on the stack. Got him. I'm at 6. You're at 8. I go to 2. I can draw a removal spell right now, and then maybe we're playing. They discarded Force of Vigor and a green card, which means they could still be holding Force Blue card, but I think they might have just jammed that if they had it. All right, Smallpox off the top. Can we do it? Stabilize from 1. Don't Dredge Loam. And small. Urza Saga's not it. All right, yeah, that was probably the worst matchup, and they had the worst opening hand possible for me in the game where I did my thing. Not going to feel too bad around that. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play against Tony Scapone, who's certainly going to be on a combo deck, which means it's a good one to have Thoughtseize and him to Turok on turn 1 against, with a real plan to add pressure through Urza Saga afterwards. Okay, this is a classic conversation of, do you him or Thoughtseize first? Let's see if Dark Ritual resolves before we even think about that. Okay, so here's the conversation. If you either want to hit lands or want it to be more likely for him to resolve, then you Thoughtseize first. If you want the best information off your Thoughtseize, then you him first. And I'm going to him to Turok first because at this point in the game, the only thing that could answer it is Force of Will, and then I still get 2 spells out of the hand. He said he's currently streaming this match while wearing the BoshNRoll t-shirt. We'd love to see it. All right, so we hit Thoughtcast and Urza's Bauble, Lava Spur Boots, Lotus Petal, Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. I'm taking Jace. And now seeing the hand that never had a counterspell in it and only has 1 land, kind of wish I had Thoughtseize first, but also, you know, whatever, it's fine. There's at least Lava Spur Boots in the hand that I could Thoughtseize. Wowie, look at this. Take the Lava Spur Boots, name Pyrite Spellbomb with this Pithing Needle I just drew, hit 2 cards. Insane. Pyrite Spellbomb. That's also the deck's win con. It's a paradoxical engine with Emery loop that makes infinite mana, infinite untaps, and then bombs you for infinite. Murderous Rider, not useful at the moment. Basic Forest once again showed up. There's only 1 of those. 2 Seat of the Synods. Accumulated Knowledge. Oh my god, I'm having such a good time all of a sudden. Accumulated Knowledge is a card that spikes my brain chemicals in all the right ways. I'm now rooting for my opponent based on that alone. I drew Smallpox, a card I cannot cast at the moment, and I don't think I would if I could. Lava Boots, currency converter, Nile Spellbomb. Nile Spellbomb is a redraw that also stops the Emery loop and slows down AK. Yeah, I'm just going to take Nile Spellbomb. Hopefully this game just dies in 2 hits, and I don't need to use the Spellbomb or really think about it too much, but I think it's correct here. Darksteel Citadel, sick old border. Actual Pox, basic forest, laughing at me. Opponent's hand is Pirate Spellbomb and 1 mystery card, and they are dead on board. Something like the One Ring would buy a bunch of time. Bobble's not it. Could Paradoxical Outcome for 2, could just get information about my deck, then concede. There's the other Spellbomb. Okay, you draw, and opponent knows right now if they can stabilize or not. Sick. All right, cool. Kind of a perfect, disruptive little Urza Saga curve out that had nothing to do with Pox, which is funny in its own way. Okay, I think Ashiok Game Ender comes in. Abrupt Decay looks good. I thought about a Collector Oof for Null Rod kind of thing in the sideboard, but there's so many artifacts in this deck, I didn't really want to mess around with that too much, but obviously it would be great here. And it's probably Null Rod, not Collector Roof, because you don't want to Edict away or Pox away your own block pieces. A Ashiok Abrupt Decay. Murderous Rider doesn't seem very good in this matchup, though also you have to win the game somehow. Yeah, without the Riders in, I literally only have Urza Saga to actually inflict damage to my opponent. I guess I need at least 1. Smallpox is dope. Loam's dope. Nile Spellbomb has its moments. Lava Spur Boots could matter a lot versus a combo deck. I think I'm going to shave a Dark Ritual and an actual Pox and just go for stability here. Now I'm on the draw, and Tony knows I am not a blue deck. Yikes. All my black sources are tapped. I talked to Headlich about turning one of the 3 Barren Moors into a Nurturing Peatland, and I think that's probably right. I will keep this hand. The Thoughtseize Smallpox is good enough. I have black source in my deck I could just draw. If he's on a Urza Saga start, I have Wasteland. Here comes just every card in the hand. Spellbomb. Okay. Didn't play a land at all. Bobbling me in my upkeep. Seize the Liliana. I'm going to play Barren Moor and pass. This Mox Amber's not currently on. Lotus Petal. Seed of the Synod suddenly. And the One Ring resolves, much to my misery. Mox Opal playing out a backup one of those. Drawing a card with Pirate Spellbomb. Just aggressively doing stuff. Saga. Now I have to decide if Smallpox or Liliana is going to be part of this game plan, or if I should just get my Saga ticking. I could cycle Barren Moor first. Nope, because that is the decision I'm trying to make. All right. If I'm going to play Saga, which I think I am, then I want to cycle Barren Moor. I've decided on the Saga line. Okay, we found another stable source of mana. I'm going to play Saga. I think once the One Ring's down, wasting the Seed of the Synod is just a waste of a turn. Just gotta hope I can apply pressure in a way that makes the One Ring a liability. And Saga can also tutor Pithing Needle, which can name the One Ring. I'm going to be 10 cards behind by the time that happens, but at least it's a line. Thoughtcast into Thoughtcast. Ancient Tomb. Bobble. Pirate Spellbomb. Haywire Might. Uh-oh. This could eat my Urza Saga. Looks like it's going to. Alright, and that also gains back the 2 life that the One Ring cost that turn. Alright, just bobbled Mesa and Urza Saga. Okay, I'm going to Thoughtseize first this time. This is a card I'm allowed to cast now. The One Ring Force Flusterstorm. I'm going to take the other One Ring. This game's not about spells. I'm going to inflict enough damage to them through the Ancient Tubes of the One Rings that I cheese a win somehow, or I'm not. There's no other game here. Ring, found Thoughtcast, immediately 7 cards in hand. Yeah, it turns out this land entering tapped and not being able to take that One Ring was a huge deal. Not that I thought it wasn't, but I didn't think it was a disqualifying for the hand. On the draw against this deck, you have to get a little lucky anyway. We've got a game 3. Thoughtcast number 4, your owner's a Saga, Mishra's Bobble. Bobbled me to see a Wasteland. Life from the Loam, embarrassingly slow. I am still going to play Verdant Catacombs and get Bayou. I think this game is over, and his constructs are way bigger than mine, so it's not even like if I make 2 constructs, then wasteland him, I'm ahead, because I'm for sure not. Bauble, or Pirate's Spellbomb, sacrifice to draw a card. Down to 14 life, I'm on the board. Drawing 4 with the ring. I'm just waiting for an excuse to concede. Just literally do anything, and I'm ready for game 3. 5 mana. This is probably Paradox Engine. Alright, cool. Yep, being on the draw also had kind of a slow hand. Maybe could have mulliganed that. Also, the sideboard could have null rods in it. I decided not to do that. Sudden Edict, really only good against Emery. I'm going to get Dark Ritual back in. Seeing Force and Flusterstorm. I wonder if I want some number of Veil of Summer. It's not like super important, but it is an option. Okay, I think those are better than Sudden Edicts. It's going to be really important to have a good hand here. This is not a good hand. Mulligan. All right, this one casts Thoughtseize and then does Saga stuff. I will count this in the keepable range. So once again, wish I had a Mox Diamond. All right, Force, Repeal, Soul Guide Lantern, a bunch of crap, and the One Ring. I'm going to take the One Ring. That is the card I'm worried about more than any other card in this whole deck. Harawara. Soul Guide Lantern. See you later, Thoughtseize. Bobble. Battle. Bobbling me, revealing life from the Loam at random. Now I have a choice. Wasteland, what at the time that I last saw the hand was the only land. Or get Saga going. I think I'm going to try to cheese here. Tony's combo decks tend to be on a really low land count, relying on artifact mana to do their thing. Let's hope that was good. If he just plays like Ancient Tomb right now, I'm going to feel bad. Alright, see this and that's even worse. Plays Emery. Yeah, we're in trouble. Grim Monolith, Urza's Bauble, the One Ring, all in this graveyard for Emery. Okay, Bayou could force the issue on a Force of Will. I don't think there's any universe he could let this resolve. Let's at least just cast this like it's him to Turok and get 2 cards out of the hand. Force Pitching Repeal, that is what I thought was going to happen. If he could go Ancient Tomb, One Ring, we're dead. Even playing Grim Monolith this turn, then One Ring next turn is probably enough to win the game. Yeah, this is much like the Rhinos deck. It's happening on a different scale, but it's like if they could bust loose on my mild squeeze I've presented, then it's really hard to catch up or do anything after that. Now, I think I just have to wasteland this Urza Saga, which feels terrible, but also I don't think I'm winning if I just play Urza Saga right now. They could pop Soul Guide Lantern and then just I play Saga and we're behind to that too. Yeah, that's fine. I tried. There is a Nile Spellbomb in my Urza Saga package, but between Jace gets to flip this turn, can cast Accumulated Knowledge. That's not even that good. Jace is flipping though, discarded a backup Emery. There's mana number 4, which means the One Ring is in play now. Maybe I underestimated the graveyardiness of this deck. It should have brought in my Leylines. I have Ashiok in. Leyline feels like kind of a spew, but maybe with the Accumulated Knowledges and the Jaces, like this is a build of the list I haven't played against before. It's normally just Emery that cares about the graveyard, but AK and Jace being here too is really interesting. And targeted Soul Guide Lantern instead of the One Ring. That knocks out Loam. I drew a Smallpox. Okay. I basically can't even use this in any kind of effective way. This could spend Lotus Petal to make a construct, and then just that construct, Emery keeps chunking. I'm going to play another Saga and try to actually keep up somehow. Just have something on the board. This feels really bad, though. Okay, happy to spew off the Lotus Petal, which means if he's willing to just do it under no pressure, he definitely would have done it if I Smallpoxed. Floated mana. I'm making a construct in response, just in case he needles Saga, but I don't think that's going to happen. Probably just going to get some card that wins the game. Like a Voltaic Key, Manifold Key kind of thing. Haywire Might can delete my Saga. That works too. Just over there playing the control game. If he's got access to another green, he could delete both my Sagas this turn. Right, going for Grim Monolith. Monolith is casting a One Ring from hand. All right, I'm good. We don't need to do more of this. It broke out. So one thing that I could have done is if I had taken the Force of Will from my Thoughtseize on turn 1, Smallpox more likely to resolve, kills Emery, and then might have to discard the One Ring anyway, or a resource that would have been used to cast One Ring. But I don't think Emery was in the hand at the time. Yeah, it was just Force Repeal One Ring. I think if I can, from Force Repeal One Ring, predict a world where I need to resolve Smallpox to get good value, then I'm some sort of genius. Like, what if he just doesn't draw Emery? Then that whole line is shit. Yeah, alright. Just got beat by another powerful deck built to go over the top quickly. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw in round 3, and I believe I am going to mulligan this. If I knew the matchup was slow, I would rock with this, but no green source, no acceleration of any kind. I'm going to send it. This hand also has problems, and they're mostly the same problems. This one does have Nile Spellbomb to interact if I'm about to get scammed or something. Alright, I am going to keep this even though I am concerned about it. The problem with Pox is it is kind of a critical mass deck. It's not like the Initiative or Red Stompy where you mull to 4 but you have turn 1 Trinisphere, so it doesn't matter. Like, you actually do have to have enough cards moving around to make decisions and get ahead on resources. Now I have the choice to zap off Wasteland versus this turn 1 Tundra. I don't think I want to do that, though. I'm going to get Bayou and cast my Nile Spellbomb, because I don't have land number 3 lined up. If I Wasteland this and then just don't draw a land in 2 turns, Urza Saga is going to run its course without ever doing anything, where Tundra decks tend to be soft to Urza Saga just as a game plan. I mean, I'm going to send him to Turok if I get the option. Blammo. Drawing into this, not possible by Wasteland, but then the whole game's behind a couple turns, so it's might end up being kind of similar. They're hiding the goods with Brainstorm. I don't know what this deck is, but him to Turok gives us a bunch of information. Uro and Savannah in the graveyard, okay. Bant control of some variety. I'm excited that Nile Spellbomb's in play now. Makes me feel a lot less bad about hemming an Uro away, which is normally just the worst feeling in Magic. Life from the Loam. Okay, so I could let you have the 2 lands back, and then Nile Spellbomb draws a card and clears Loam and Uro, which are the actual graveyard cards. Or I could zap this now, leave you chilling on 2 lands, but you can dredge Loam in the future. I'm going to Spellbomb now, which does cost me a card. It costs them 2 right away, and then the Uro later. Planes. Okay, there is a Psycho mode here, where if I Wasteland the Tropical Island and then Smallpox, they're down to 1 land, but so am I. I think I just want to play Urza Saga here. The problem is with Loam in the graveyard, if there's just a fetch land or a green source in their hand, it just so completely doesn't matter. If I waste them, it's actually devastating if I do waste them. And they did opt to dredge Loam. Mystic Sanctuary, Flooded Strand in the hand. Mystic Sanctuary still in the hand. And they're fetching, they're doing stuff. Xander's Lounge, okay. 4 color beans confirmed. Possibly even 5. But none of these lands make green, except this one, including the Mystic Sanctuary in the hand. Dredging Loam might not even save their bacon here. They did not dredge Loam, and did not play a land. Time to apply pressure. Construct. My own Loam. Sick. That makes it very exciting for me to get a Mox Diamond here. Discard Cabal Pit, Swamp, Loam Pox, Saga, Wasteland, Verdant Catacombs. Force Negation would be annoying here, but I still get to bash for 3. Leyline Binding. Alright, yep, not surprised by that, based on their fetch decision earlier in the game. Okay, I just got a 3-for-1 out of Urza's Saga, and a 3-for-1 out of Light from the Loam. I'm up a ton of cards. If I can Wasteland Pox next turn, they actually have nothing left. Like Wasteland and non-basic Pox, they lose both of the lands they have. Played a Volcanic Island. Still no green source. I don't think I dredge Loam here. I'm going to attack first, see if they want to interact with this at all. And then I should have Wastelanded pre-combat. Wasteland your Tundra. If I Pox here, I go down to 2 lands and just Urza Saga in my hand. Oh, okay, they don't need to play anymore. All right, sweet. I don't have to figure that out. I was about to Pox down to Urza Saga in hand and Loam in the graveyard, and just hope that was good enough. Cool. Proper mana denial. Got us a dub. I like Ashiok and probably nothing else here. I love the discard spells. I like Graveyard Hate. Dark Ritual is a card I don't mind shaving on. Just one here or there in these super grindy matchups because it's such a bad top deck. And these decks are pretty good at absorbing early interaction. Like even if I do Dark Ritual out Thoughtseize him, they might just go like land, Uro. They're like land, Beanstalk, and then they're back in, and then Uro's in the graveyard from all that. So I make my top decks better. They don't have that many creatures, and the creatures they do have, I have Graveyard Hate to come after. I'm gonna just do this light change. On the draw with no colored mana of any kind. Easy mulligan. Oh, come on now. Mulligan again. Straight to 5. Okay, keep this one. Bottom one of the Loams. And oh, this sucks. I want every single one of the cards in my hand. I think I get rid... So I could get rid of Swamp and just let any land in my deck be the nut draw. I could get rid of Smallpox and just him to track them turn 1 and get to Loaming. I could bottom Mox Diamond and just slow down. I think I'm going to bottom Mox Diamond and slow down. That sucks, though. That would have been a great 6. Don't even need 7. Would have been happy with 6 on that one. They are showing a face-up Veil of Summer, potentially. Oh, baby. Sometimes you get it all. Do I want to shove him to Turok into this Veil of Summer? I could also just Loam. Yeah, I'm just going to Loam. Getting Veiled here would be too brutal. You can't Surgical Basic Swamp. I'm safe from that. You can Brainstorm. Looking for, I don't know, Endurance? What are we looking for here? Force of Negation? Wow, Force of Negation confirmed, pitching a Ponder. All right. They want to get nasty. That's light casting him to Turok. Urza Saga's in my hand now. I'll play Saga. I don't think this deck's going to have days, but alright. Now I'm going to fire the him because I can't play around it anymore. If you have Veil, you have Veil. If you don't, half your hand's gone. Cool. Alright, lost a Force of Vigor too. That's a big one for them to not have anymore. Look at my board. Okay, there was a pause in their draw step. Yep, okay, there it is. Miracle to Triumph, which gives me a really good Smallpox turn, but that knocks me off mana to do anything with Saga. Alright, we'll see what gets drawn here. Liliana would be sick. Wasteland's also sick, though. Alright, I'm going to play Wasteland, and I could Smallpox, sack the Wasteland, make 1 construct next turn, or I could put them to 1 land. Yeah, that's so much better. Smallpox. I guess I just sack the Saga then, if this is how it's going to be. I can knock them off green. I'm going to do that. They've shown me that they have Life from the Loam in their deck, but this also flips the Triumph back in. All right, well, we can let that part resolve. I think I actually want to take them off white, because I know the Triumph is in there somewhere, but if they draw land and Loam before they draw Triumph, that's bad. Ponder. Okay, this is good. I've chosen Violence here. Let's hope it is the correct choice. They did not shuffle Ponder. Murderous Rider. First appearance of that card, and it's actually good if I can find another mana source. Cycling Lorien Revealed gets rid of the Triumph. It's no longer in the mix, but it does unlock magic cards. Tundra. Found. Light from the Loam. Come on, deck. Hook it up. Pretty happy with that one too, though. That's the second best card after Light from the Loam. I could have just run out Murderous Rider here, but knowing that they're a Triumph deck and they actually can put a giant creature into play off 2 mana, they could also have Murktide Regent in this deck. I would rather check the box of not dying to a bigger creature than just put a 2/3 lifelink into the play. Once again, did not shuffle Ponder. Game Ender. Oh my goodness. Well, alright. I think this is better than a Construct. And I do want to target them. Ashiok's target ability, target player mills 4, then your opponents exiled their graveyards. Like, you can mill yourself and you're a Loam deck, so sometimes that's right to do, but they just kept a Ponder. And we did just hit Uro up the Beanstalk Leyline Binding off the top of their deck. I don't know which of those they kept off the Ponder, but I'm happy to see them all gone. Thoughtseize. I think I actually don't want to make a Construct here. I want to get Currency Converter, cast Thoughtseize, and then activate Currency Converter. Force of Vigor, Terminus Plow. I think Force of Vigor is the card I'm most worried about here. All right, draw and discard a card. I will discard this Urborg, which can become a treasure in the future. And I actually do want to Ashiok myself. Trying to hit a Loam. Milled a bunch of stuff, a bunch of lands in Pithing Needle. No Loam there. Ooh, they found a Wasteland. That's pretty good. Aggressive if they use it, but I mean, it's not bad. Okay. Turns off Currency Converter till I find more mana, which I did immediately. Gonna hit myself with Ashiok again. No love there. My graveyard is stacked for when a Loam shows up. And I'm gonna activate Currency Converter in the end step. Huh. I can put them to basically nothing. And Murderous Rider under the Converter is a creature. Light from the Loam. Or, I said Light from the Loam. I meant Verdant Catacombs. I wish it was Light from the Loam. Are you kidding? Alright, him to Terrakyu. Hit the 2 cards I knew about. And I'm not going to Ashiok myself again, because the difference between 2 and 1 is I can zap them one more time, where that might be relevant versus this Uro Loam deck. Smallpox. Nailed it. Just what I wanted. I mean, that's not actually bad. I was kind of goofing, but it kills my creature, but puts them back down to 1 land. Yep, send it. I'll lose this. Both of my bayous are in the graveyard already. Yeah, I'll just lose the swamp. Discarded a Leyline Binding. I'm going to fetch, make sure there's still a mana source in here. Alright, we're good. And I will pass the turn. They kept green over white. End of turn, make a treasure. Come on, Loam. Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to activate Converter now. Do I need Nile Spellbomb? It's a redraw. Yeah, I'll discard this Catacombs and get another treasure in the mix. Don't really want to spend a treasure right now. Alright, I'm just going to pass and hope they don't cast Loam this turn. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't care about that. Ashiok. That insulates future Poxes as a worthless land to sacrifice. Another Catacombs. Nile Spellbomb. Verdant Catacombs. Just running it out there. Believe there is Forest left in the deck. Yep. Alright, Forest. Bunch of Loam still in there. Rainstorm. This card's a lot worse when you can't shuffle, but it's still good to have. Came up with a basic island. A little worried about that. It's action. In a board where there's not much action. The true Pox life is being experienced right now. Circling my Sagas. That's going to make it difficult to win. Okay, you got it. Spells and abilities your opponent's control can't cause their control to search their library. Okay, they are searching my library, which means we're not safe. Luckily, my Loam's already in exile. So I actually have to win with this Currency Converter or casting Murderous Riders. And if it's a non-land card, so any non-land card can function off Converter, I am just going to bomb them in the end step because I would like the redraw. Dark Ritual. This is what I was talking about. This card sucks so bad in the end game. I'll make a treasure. Smallpox. Well, I'm not casting that. I have 2 things worth looting away here, and I can just loot one of them now. Oh, that was a good loot. I'm going to get rid of Dark Ritual. 100% don't need that one. Might still want a Smallpox. Wasteland. zap that tropical island just in case you had set up a Loam. They're just passing. And they're working through their brainstorm cards. No shuffle. That's the first card they put back from brainstorm that just happened. Big Pox. Okay, what does this do? You lose your Misty Rainforest and discard a card. Yeah, this is not very good here. I'm just gonna pass and make a 2/2. All right, 2/2 on the board. Now this is pod racing. That's a banger. The 2/2 output just got a lot faster, and we put real squeeze on the game. If they force a will this from hand, that's fine. Each player discards a card. I'm going to discard the Smallpox. I have dreams of Big Pox doing the thing. Ooh, pitching Solitude in response. Okay. This puts them to fully Hellbent. They get to answer my 2/2, but I discard Smallpox into the currency converter off of Liliana. And the 2/2's right back. Veil of Summer gone from their hand. Cool. Okay, I feel good now. The Liliana, I think, is gonna just crack it open. Instead, make a 2/2. Another Wasteland. I'm gonna attack first, and I'll just discard the Big Pox. It's better as a 2/2 than it is as a Pox. We are in that stage of the game. You lost an Endurance, I lost a Pox. And now Smallpox is live again because I can waste Misty Rainforest and then Smallpox to their other land. Beast Storm, okay. And they can still shuffle. They just don't get a land out of it. That is an important distinction to saying you can't even shuffle at all. Misty Rainforest will do as much as it can. And we got the I have been sent to the Shadow Realm GG from the opponent. They know what the Pox life is about. Love that. All right, we are on the board. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the play in round 4, and my hand doesn't really work. I'm going to mulligan. Sheesh. Not a land here. In Mox Diamond, any other land, this hand is nuts. We're going to 5, though. Okay, I will keep this, and I'm going to put Big Pox and Murderous Rider to the bottom. Is this how I'm going to do this? Yeah, I think so. I can go Mox Diamond, discard Baronmoor, play Urza's Saga here, and I'm Saga gaming. This is a huge lean into Wasteland, unfortunately, but Saga gaming does solo some decks. Okay, here we are. Sad without a life from the Loam. Story of my life. Verdant Catacombs, it's the mirror. More likely it's some Storm deck or Reanimator deck and we're just dead. Alright, yeah, Thoughtseizing my Smallpox out of my hand. You got me. If this is Turbo Depths, though, I actually do have Wasteland ready to go, and I can tutor powerful stuff like Pithing Needle out of the Saga package. And I am going to put the Wasteland in play just to make sure I don't get clowned right now. Ghost Quarter. Okay, this is definitely Turbo Depths. I'm tapping out of Wasteland to put a threat on the board. They could... It would be pretty crazy if they could go off from there. But I did tap out. Sylvan Scrying. They've already made their land drop. Hitting Thespian Stage. Okay, feeling pretty safe. Can I destroy a land? Nope, but I can keep this pressure up. Sick. Alright, that worked out extremely well. That's why Ghost Quarter mostly is an index. It's just a tough thing to use fairly. You have to be doing something unfair for Ghost Quarter to ever be worthwhile in a legacy deck. They can copy my Urza Saga with their Thespian Stage. Wasteland affects that as well, though. Yavimaya? Alrighty. Ooh. I was about to say I'm not just gonna, slam a Cornball Wasteland, but Smallpox might change that. I think Smallpox is better next turn. I'm gonna play my Swamp, make my Construct to push the extra damage, and attack for 3. The problem is, if I put them to 0 resources there, it also takes the pressure off the clock, which is part of what's working for me here. Another Wasteland. When it rains, it pours. Do they main deck Force of Vigors to do something crazy here? Do they want to copy my Saga before it's gone? Does Lava Spur Boots just kill my opponent here? It does. Interesting. I could just get Boots, try to win. Yeah, I'm doing that. All right. These boots are made for walking. Did we do it? Successfully equipped. We did it. All right. The dedicated land destruction strategy stole a game versus the dedicated make a creature out of land strategy. I like it. Ashiok Game Ender, Hater. Veil of Summer, they do have a bunch of discard effects. I'm not sure if I'm going to make room for that or not. Murderous Rider actually doesn't do anything. I guess they have Elvish Reclaimer in their deck. All right. Maybe it does something. Sudden Edict is phenomenal. I actually think Children's Edict would be better because it can always get the Merit Lage even if they have an Elvish Reclaimer or a Dried Arbor around. I like the Edicts. I like the land destruction. I just don't think I'm going to have room for these Veils. Should just play the Loam land strategy. Murderous Rider versus Pox. Pox can kill Merit Lage. Murderous Rider cannot. Urza's Saga and Currency Converter are my only ways to win if I board out my Riders. But I'm only boarding in 2 cards anyway. Alright. I'm Pox gaming. I'm going for it. Though if I bring in these Abrupt Decays, those are answers to Elvish Reclaimers and Sylvan Libraries and Vampire Hex Mages and that kind of thing. Ah, man. Might have just talked myself back out of Poxing. Okay, I'm not a Pox gamer. Smallpoxes only. Though Dark Ritual... No, I think this matchup is enough about speed that I want my rituals. I'm doing it like this. Okay, Dark Ritual Liliana, immediately rewarded. I'll keep this. Just sit a bunch of Wastelands in play. Oh my goodness! Sign my opponent up for the Shadow Realm. Population U. Sorry, I doubted you, Dark Ritual. But on the other hand, I just drew another Dark Ritual, which is very likely to be bad. You basically only ever want one Dark Ritual in a game of Pox, which is why there's only 3 in the deck to begin with. Okay, don't kill me right now. Let me get a Wasteland into play before we start doing stuff. Alright, if that was Urborg, they actually could have been threatening Merit Lage there. Right, plus Liliana, I'm just going to burn off this Dark Ritual. Maybe I could discard a Verdant Catacombs first and circle back to the Dark Ritual. No, I'm going to discard the Ritual. The tiebreaker for me is how funny it is if they Thoughtseize me, and I have only lands in my hand. And I'm not just zapping off this Wasteland because they are a deck with crop rotation. Snow Forest. Smallpox. You don't say. Okay, plus Liliana. Discard Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to be patient with this Smallpox, though I think there is a giant hammer looming over my opponent's head now that this card's in my hand. Play another Wasteland. Crop rotation confirmed. What could we get that I care about here? Ghost Quarter's fine. Ghost Quarter beats one of the Wastelands because they could start a timing war where they're ahead at the end of all the mess. But I have 2 of them. That one's a game breaker. Okay, I'm going to plus Liliana first and discard Urza's Saga. I guess I could discard Verdant Catacombs and then play Saga. That's probably better, because they're all forests, thanks to this Yavimaya. Urza's Saga. Life from the Loam. And it would be greedy and reckless for me to fire off a Wasteland first to try to get full Loam value here. Okay, they are starting their fight. They got 1 card left in their hand. I'm going to go after this Yavimaya if they want to start this fight right now. With 1 card in their hand, how can they beat this? Ghost Quarter's gone. They got 1 card in their hand, a green floating. Liliana on 4. Another Wasteland still in play. I just don't know what the solution is here for them. And whatever that card is, it's gone next turn. That Ghost Quarter felt really aggressive and weird. Okay, maybe they have some master plan, but I can't really imagine what it is. And maybe that's my lack of imagination. Or maybe they're about to concede the game. Alright, cool. Nice. A pretty clean dismantling. We saw me get clowned by Rhinos, probably one of the worst matchups imaginable. And then we just clowned Turbo Depths, probably one of the best matchups imaginable. So we got the full spectrum here. On to the final round. Positive record on the line. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bizarre Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the play in the final round against Onzi D MTG, streamer and coverage expert extraordinaire. If you like watching legacy coverage like Eternal Weekend or SCG cons from the floor or anything like that, consider finding Onzi D's Patreon because he's the one doing it and he does great work. Okay, we have successfully out-scammed the scammer. However, this Wasteland is going to be a huge heckin' problem. I'm going to take Grief from this hand and hope that he gives me a single turn to cast Light from Loam before jamming off this Wasteland. Nope, no chance. Yeah, when your hand is horrendous, it makes sense that you're not worried about that. Come on, green source. Well, it is a green source. I actually think it is correct to play Mox Diamond discarding Wasteland rather than playing Wasteland, because this gives me the green source guaranteed. Solitude, Ephemerate, Plow. I really don't care about Plow. Do I care about Ephemerate? No. I'm going to take Solitude. And now I just need to draw a land, and I think I win from there. Any land at all. And I'm in great shape. The boots. Okay. We are in stupid mode, caused by multiple Wastelands and some discard. Oh no. Okay, we're just stupiding back and forth pretty hard on each other. Shadowy Backstreet makes a lot of sense. Slightly less stupid. This Pox deck might have room for one of the lands. Caustic Bronco, this is what I was worried about. Alright, deck. Black Source for GG. Oh no! Yeah, now we're just kind of spewing off into a situation where we're falling behind on cards. Plow, Ephemerate. Okay, I guess I'll take a Plow. Do I even care about any of these cards is the problem. Guess I'll take Ephemerate. I do play removal that targets in my deck, at least a little bit of it, though Ephemerate seems more useful than Plow. Caustic Bronco, awesome new card. Been showing up in a bunch of stuff. Orcish Bowmaster, I'm now in a shitload of trouble. That beats all of my edicts. I wasn't expecting Anu to be on a Wasteland deck, I'm going to be honest. I don't think it changes how I play, but that was a huge problem. Jeez. Dothy Voidwalker, okay. Well, I can Sudden Edict now, and that at least gets rid of one of these jerks. I can worry about loaming in the future. The Bronco keeps the cards coming. This Bowmaster is such a beating, though, just knowing that card's over there. Bronco just flipped a Solitude. Take 5, dummy. And now playing around Edicts. Here we go. Alright, I'm at 10. Baron Moore. What is the path out of this game? Is there even one? Here's the Loam that I obviously kept my hand on the strength of. Bowmaster is in play already. Is there a world where Wasteland is useful at all? Can't really cycle this Baron Moore. I could Dredge Loam and not take one from Orcish Bowmaster. 4, 8, 9. Fetching doesn't change the clock here. I really don't want to get Wastelanded again. I know all the cards, but he gets to draw 2 cards this turn. Alright, I'm going to play the Bayou and take my chances. I actually need a Murderous Rider, as weird as that is. Yeah, I think we had, 3 turns this game to just end the game on the spot with any land, and we bricked and opponent drew insane in the interim. Started to cast the other Bronco, then backed off. I'm going to Dredge Loam in the end step. I'm just not doing anything else with these cards, and I did draw Murderous Rider. Solitude and Swords to Plowshares. Unfortunately, I lose 2 life when casting this thing. I'm 1 life short of maybe stabilizing here. But this grip full of white removal is tricky. And the Ephemerate's there too. Could even scam out the Solitude. Yep. We're not getting this one. Tough beats. Abrupt Decay is going to be good. Veil of Summer, probably not good. Plague Engineer naming Orc is solid. Ashiok's kind of whatever. Some of these decks play Stoneforge Mystics, some don't. I still think Ashiok's kind of whatever. Shadow Spear's probably really good. I think this is one that I can't afford these bad top decks like Dark Ritual, though having an explosive turn 1 is very good. I don't know if I'm going to have room for Plague Engineer, though it is really good against Bowmaster, which is really good against my Edicts. I'm probably taking Boots out when I bring Spear in. Not necessarily all the time, but in this case, I feel like one of us is just going to get incremental advantage until it's insurmountable, and it's not really going to be about like one big hasty dummy. Wait, did I have Lava Spur Boots in play at the end of that game? Was that a different game? I think it was that game. I might have been able to equip Murderous Rider, but they had the Plow. All right, yeah, it didn't matter. Okay. Decay, Shadow Spear. I like those cards. Do I want to make room for Plague Engineer? Thoughtseize can become a bad draw as well. I think I want 2 Engineers over 2 Thoughtseizes. Okay, I am gonna run it like so. All right, this hand is less dead to Wasteland. Still not ideal. I am gonna keep it though. Lead on Baron more. This hand can curve out Edict off of the Saga, then start activating Saga. Looks like we're getting griefed, pitching Pest Control. Here comes the scam, the Scammerooskies. Lost my sudden Edict. Okay, it was just a discard. It wasn't even a full scam. Pest Control's a good one. I'm still adjusting that card being in the metagame, but it's a big reason to be a black-white scam deck. And it's really good against basically my entire engine and win cons. I'm going to get Catacombs and fetch. I think I just grab a Bayou. Wasteland's going to hit something here. Shadowy Backstreet for some selection. Fetching again in response to Shadowy Backstreet's Surveil trigger. What is this sorcery? Are we just going to fetch both anyway and might as well do it now? Or are you going to set something up? Kept a card on top after all that. Okay. That fetch timing was very strange. All right, Broncarooni's in. Opponent knows I have multiple Lilianas in hand. There must be some plan to make this Bronco work. Could just be trying to make my Urza Saga awkward, which is going to succeed. Oh, Ephemerate is probably what's going on here. I think I want Currency Converter. And Wasteland, the untapped land. I'm not getting Ephemerated here. Are you kidding? Who do you think I am? Someone who would just get Ephemerated? All right, then I'll cast Liliana. Didn't float mana or anything. I'll delete your Snake Horse and attack for 2. Okay, that ended up being a pretty good turn, but he knew about this Liliana and still did all that, so we'll see what the flip is here. We're going to Pest Control, knock out all this stuff, and then I just have to solo the game with a Liliana? Something's happening. Lauren of the Third Path. All right, you want my Converter or my Creature? Yep, I would want the Converter too. Good call. Lauren's pretty spicy. I think I'm going to plus first. And I think I dump Verdant Catacombs here. So Verdant Catacombs is another green source. I would hate to draw Loam and not be able to use it. Is there any chance that Wasteland still matters? And Hardcast Grief is coming up here. All right, I will discard Cabal Pit. And Lauren can make both players draw cards. Do I want that to happen? Wasteland. All right. Swift End. Ride or die. Take out Lauren. I don't know if this deck plays Caracas and does any loops like that, but not on my watch. In my most thrilling win con, we're down a game in the 5th round for the positive record, and Murderous Rider is finally on an adventure for the first time. Okay, had enough. Cool. Now I got to do this on the draw. Orcish Bowmasters, by the way, this is the first time somehow in 5 matches of Legacy that it's come up in this league. It's really good against Edict effects, and it's really good when your deck is full of symmetrical Edicts. My personal optimized build of Loam Pox, which is on my Mox field, has Bowmasters in it. It's kind of the perfect card to both grief your opponent and give you extra material to slurp up into a Smallpox. This build isn't playing it, but I have spoken about it with Headlich in charge, but we're doing it this way for now. Does anything happen on the play or draw? like Dark Ritual could catch up better on the draw, but I'm also probably going to be interested in stability over raw power if my opponent is going to grief me on turn 1. Yeah, I think the version I submitted, what does Pithing Needle do? We've basically seen Marsh Flats that I can name with this. We haven't seen a Stoneforge Mystic yet. I might be able to do better than Needle. I don't want to name Wasteland because we're both Wasteland decks and I do it better. We could just add another Plague Engineer and just body up the combat step, which will slow the game down to the point where I can do stuff. Okay, turn 1 Pox. Is that a game plan? I'm not going to mulligan this. It might be wrong, but we are in the final stages of our lives here and against the wall for the positive record. 1 game left in the league. If I can Pox, I'm inclined to keep it. We both kept 7s. Chrome Mox. Oh my god, please turn 1 Acoustic Bronco. Holy smokes. My worry about turn 1 Poxing was that it wouldn't kill a creature and I'd have to wait. No, not like this. Alright, I guess I'm not going to have any spells after all. I was really hoping for just the Chrome Mox, Imprint, Pest Control, Caustic Bronco, Pox straight to hell. But more likely, we're going to see an Ephemerate or Reanimate here. Yep, Ephemerate takes the Pox. Ephemerate has another loop back around. So if I draw a spell here that I can't get out of my hand, they get to take that too. Okay. Not bad, actually. I'm going to play the Swamp and pass. See if they Ephemerate. And the decision here is, do you give up 3 damage to maybe miss? And they did. Okay, I could cycle Barrenmore now. I get punished by exactly Bowmasters. 2 Wastelands. I'm not going to play into Bowmaster. Abrupt Decay. Okay. Do I have to think about Opposition Agent? God, I hope not. They attack for 3. Snow Plains. 1 card left over there. I'm just going to go to my turn. Draw. Liliana of the Veil. You don't say. Okay. Now what? If their hand is Bowmasters, this is bad no matter what. Liliana can plus up to 4 and then die. I can play on basics here. Okay, I think my plan this turn is cycle Barrenmore in the end step. And if they deploy a Bowmaster, I have the Abrupt Decay to clear it out. But if the hand is somehow not a good thing, then I actually have a line to stability. If they tap this Chrome Mox for Bronco, I actually have the board completely under control. Decay the Bronco, untap Liliana the Grief. Okay, 1 card left. Are we about to see what it is? Just fetching Marsh Flats right now. It's another Grief. All right, well, can't beat that one. Son of a biscuit. Okay, I played around Bowmaster too long and ate shit for it. Liliana is definitely going here. And then I fetch 2 basics and cycle Barrenmore. Basic. I'm getting the fetches out of the way first. Cycle Barrenmore. Another one. All right, refire on Barrenmore. This Abrupt Decay. Getting completely punked by just 2 griefs. Meanwhile, okay, that was a great draw. I'm going to run out Urborg, which might help my opponent, actually. But if I can get one of these Wastelands on the hook, then I can Beseiju the other one and get Saga going. I don't know why you'd Wasteland Urborg, though. That doesn't even make sense. He is choosing to attack Liliana. 1 creature is so much better for me than 2, though. Stop doing stuff. All right, well, knows about my Caustic Bronco, or knows about my Decay for Caustic Bronco. Had to run it out anyway. Wow, 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 wow. Suddenly, you get out of here. And, all right, I guess the opportunity to work through these Wastelands in any sort of clever way has come and gone. Sudden Edict you, using Urza's Saga as a swamp, which is so sick. Normally, wasting it in response to this trigger means you don't even get mana out of it. Not today. And we're back to top deck mode. My deck has Life from the Loam. His deck has creatures that draw cards. Come on, good cards. Hell yeah. This is the problem with discard decks, historically, is eventually. Okay, just kept a card on top with Backstreet. I'm going to Beseiju Wasteland now, where if he wants to keep whatever card he just kept, he's not going to get a basic land out of the deal. Might just wasteland my Urborg here. But most of my cards, I don't think I have anything that costs 4. All right, went for the wasteland. You get to keep your card. Come on, Loam, Liliana. Another wasteland. All right, I'm going to take out Shadowy Backstreet and hope that he kept a 5 on top. I don't even know what they are in the deck, but starting to constrict the options seems like the place to be. Bronco. Come on, deck. Liliana, Smallpox, something good. Not another wasteland. Well, maybe I can constrict to the point where the Bronco fills... Like, if he has 2 uncastable cards in hand at the end of the turn, him to Trox back on. Do you hear me just sniffing that cope? All right, took 6 off Troll, immediately cycled it for a basic Swamp. All right, please don't ever reanimate. There's the Swamp. Jeez. All right, we're in trouble now. Plague Engineer stabilizes. That one's still alive. Plague Engineer. Play from the Loam. Better late than never, I suppose. Saga. Beseju. Can't really Baron more here. Well, I can Baron more to get more Loams. Saga, this is 4. All right, it's not pretty in these streets. No, that was such a good draw. Yeah, that just kills Urza Saga. And that also lets him saddle Bronco, which is probably better than attacking with Orc Army. Damn. All right, yep. I've lost in the top deck war. How much am I taking off this thing? 5. Okay. Now even Plague Engineer doesn't win the game for me anymore. Still going to cycle Baron more because it's not doing anything for me. Gonna dredge the Loam. And draw for turn. It's Smallpox. I go out on my own terms. Yep, that game just came down to a bunch of different close calls, top deck wars that opponent came out ahead of in basically all cases. But, you know, could break the other way on another day. A 2-3 record with this build of Pox. And I felt like I spent a lot of time just not able to do stuff in this league. Part of that is the Pox life, where if your opponent gets out of your squeeze, you're just kind of helpless. But also some of it is like these choices, these 3 drops that we mentioned in the deck tech. Murderous Rider actually felt like actively bad and unnecessary throughout the entire league. I boarded it out a lot, and it wasn't very good in the spots where it would have been okay. I don't know. I think we can do better with that slot. Actual Fox, it almost had a moment to be a hero in that final round if Anzi just had Caustic Bronco instead of Grief. But I don't think we need more of this effect. Certainly not to the level of needing 6 of them. I would prefer probably just more lands in the deck even. There's 25 in the deck right now, and we spent a lot of time in this league just kind of mana screwed or having to mulligan hands that don't support Mox Diamond. 25 is already a lot of lands for a Legacy deck, but this is a deck that is playing with lands in a way that are unusual for Legacy and incentivizes you to play more. I would probably cut the 2 Poxes and the Murderous Rider right away for just 3 more lands and make them all tech lands. Give me a Nurturing Peat land, a Takenuma, and a Ghost Quarter. I don't know. Just, you know, poke around. I'm sure there's some techie lands out there in the world that are big and would help this deck a lot. But I think the ultimate bullet at the end of this conversation is we have kind of failed one of the first deck building tests, which is, can you cast your spells? And I'm not saying the deck is wildly irresponsible, because it's not, but when we're at the end of a league talking about cutting some of the most expensive spells in the deck for some lands, that basically feels like a casual Commander conversation. Like, oh, you have a lot of 7-drops in here and not enough lands. And, you know, Pox is not really a 7-drop, but in Legacy terms, this is the top end. And this is a card that costs you lands if it resolves. So you really need to make up the lands thing. maybe a Crucible of Worlds to supplement the Loams if we're not adding, like if we're having 3-drops to jam instead of lands. Just something like that is where I'd want to go with this. Headlich, thank you for sharing this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.